you have to be aggressive to even have a voice online. This is a quote from Patrice O'Neal, one of my favorite comedians. Sadly, he is not with us anymore. He died many years ago, but he still lives on through various clips that have been taken from different radio or his stand-up or interviews. And this was from an interview that they were talking about different things. The internet really just had started to take off in regard to like social media with MySpace and Twitter and things like that. And so he was talking about how to get your ideas out there, you kind of have to be aggressive. But what I wanted to look at is how does this affect us today? That was back then when they thought there were so many different voices. He was talking about how the barrier to entry is so low to get in the conversation. All you have to do is have a computer and a internet access. Like, that's really it. Whereas before, you had to know people to get articles and to be in the newspaper and to be able to be on the public stage, to be able to be seen by millions of people. There was a lot bigger entry fee. Now the cost is so low, anybody can, but who gets seen? It's people who are more aggressive. And now there's even more people online. There's even more countries online. There's more and more and more. So who gets through? Especially like on a comment. Who gets through on a comment? The more aggressive you are, the more you're going to be able to be seen. And what I look at that and I go, even if you don't want to be aggressive, even if that's not your nature, you might have to play the game, as many people say. Pick a side, get controversial. And what I've noticed is that this then sets us up for disaster. Number one, we might not be true to our own belief systems. We might be curating our own beliefs, our own ideas, our own opinions by what we know is going to get a response from. So we start to lie about what we actually believe. We start to do things because we want to get the result, which is eyeballs, clicks, views, likes, subscribes, whatever it might be. And I get that that's used on a business standpoint, but so many people are talking about issues and are engaging in conversations that really we want to know what's really going on. This shouldn't be something, in my opinion, it shouldn't be something that you're just using for a monetary value. Now, I know some people, that's what they do, but I look at it and I go, well, what does this mean long term for us? Well, like I said, you might be not telling the truth just because you want to use these avenues of online media to be able to make money. And I get that. But the other side of it is who's going to succeed? If you're someone who doesn't want to be aggressive and you're just playing the game, that's all well and good because you at least you know what's going on, and maybe over time you start to lose sight of who you really are, which is another dangerous thing. But who are we really curating it for? The people who are aggressive. So that's always been in nature. Early bird gets the worm, all right? The person who has more aggression, if you're gonna equalize skill, right? Like in a fight, let's just say, if two people are equally skilled, the person who is more aggressive is gonna tend to win because you have to put something out. You have to put some effort out. You have to dominate. You have to win. And if you look at life like that, who tends to come out on top? If you have two people who are competing for something, the person who's more aggressive is going to win. And that's like life. So that's a normal thing. But when it comes to ideas, people who are more aggressive and put out ideas, even if they're wrong, in this competing landscape for ideas, this is to me, a dangerous thing. And this is what you're starting to see. I look at someone like Trump. Trump is the perfect example of this. He is super aggressive, super loud. He's always right. He's never wrong. If you disagree with him, you're an idiot. And that mentality is so prevalent nowadays. And that's why I believe that he's a perfect president for our nation, because that's what a lot of people, whether you like it or not, that is our attitude. And what I notice is people get so angry when I say that it's a perfect thing. That's what that's who we are. Even people who hate Trump use Trump's tactics to get their message across. They're aggressive. They're always right. If you're wrong, you're an idiot. It's the funniest thing to see that people who despise Trump are so similar to him. Now, I know some of that is psychological, like, hey, I hate about what's in myself, but these people really genuinely believe that they have nothing in common with Trump, but they have everything in common with him. And so it's so crazy for me to see people who have the same traits, that aggressive trait, right, and use Trump's game plan, come out and talk about that's how he gets people, is he's brash and he says things that are controversial or this or that, like that he's using a playbook, and they don't realize that they're using the same playbook. And I think that this has infected everyone because of, like I was saying with Patrice O'Neal, to just get your message across, you have to be aggressive. Just to be in the game, just to be a player in the game, you have to be aggressive. And I look at that and I go, that sucks. That sucks that there's only one way for us to get our messages across. And I think that this is going to run us into a lot of trouble, because what happens if you continually want to have that energy behind you? Even when you're wrong, like Trump is many times, even when you're wrong, even when you're out of your element, you're still going to be the expert. You're still going to be that person that has something to say. You're still going to be someone that comes out and says that person's an idiot. Even though you don't have all the information, you have to pick a side. You have to be aggressive. You have to be someone that stands out. And you can't do that by going, I agree with them, and I agree with them too, and they have a point, but they also have a point. You can't stand in the middle and kind of, balance yourself in between the two if you want to be heard. The way that the algorithms work, the way that people are curating themselves, is because that's how we consume things. We want that definite side. We want that definite answer. We want that. And it's a very interesting thing. And this is one of those reasons why, whether we have the internet and social media or not, the aggression rule still applies. And this is why, for a long time, the world was dominated by men. We have more testosterone, which means we have more aggression. It allowed us to dominate when life was much more physical, right? But you're looking at the world today, it's still dominated by men, and you'll still see a lot of men succeed in that online platform because of that aggression come and stems from testosterone. And I think as things change over time with hormones in women and things like that, things might equal out. And also because of a mindset, and also because you'll start to, I think, pick up some of the traits of testosterone, that masculinity as a female, just being in the game. And look at the ones who are more successful online. Look at the ones who are more successful with money. Look at the ones, they tend to have more of that aggressive mindset. You think about what are some of those traits, and that's one of them. And so when I think about the online landscape, this to me is a dangerous thing, because instead of us looking for the truth, instead of us looking for who's right, who has the best intentions, we are looking at aggression. And now you can, not be right? You can lie to people and be aggressive and get away with it, but it doesn't necessarily work out in the long term, right? People find out what's going on, and that changes the tide. So I know that isn't a definite rule. It's not like you can just still be aggressive even though all the information and facts are out and you're a criminal and you're like, it's like it doesn't work out for you to be aggressive if you're on the wrong side of things. But I've seen how if the truth doesn't come out, or if that person is able to create a narrative that you are wrong even though you're right, that is dangerous. And this is one of the complaints about people like that have about Trump. They go fake news, right? He just calls everything fake news if he doesn't agree with it. And I go, that's exactly what you do. That's exactly what everyone does nowadays. And I go, oh man, this is that aggression thing. It's like if I'm just more aggressive and I just say, no, you're wrong, it doesn't matter what the facts are. We don't even care about the facts. And so I don't know what that leads for the future. I know that where we're at right now, and it's not good. Okay, like I said, we are all full of shit to a certain extent to just get our opinion out there, just to have views, just to get likes, just to be noticed. Some people are going the opposite way. They're not even caring about online, all right? But so much of our world is lived there now that we've changed the landscape of how we consume media, especially when it comes to political news, all right? This is how we get information now. So we have to live with it. So now that that's the story, or that's the case, what are the stories going to be? How are we going to get the information across? And I look at that and I go, this is interesting. So how do we change that? I don't know. I don't know how we end up changing the fact that aggression tends to win. Is something going to have to happen for us to take a step back and use more caution when it comes to these things? Is there going to be some form of media that almost like maybe AI in a sense can almost stop us from overextending ourselves and going too far down the rabbit hole, so to speak, with certain ideas in the way that we approach them? Are we going to end up almost like putting a regulator, like a stop gap, right, in a way to make sure that we don't overdo certain things? That might help us, because left to our own devices, like I said, if someone speaks well, looks good, is saying all the right things, it doesn't matter if they have all the right answers. You're going to be drawn, certain people are going to be drawn to certain people. This is just how human beings work. We're social animals. I think that we need to use technology, this is just my idea, to be able to kind of get in between some of that and be like, hey, what are you really paying attention to? Is that reminders on the screens that pop up and go, pause and think about what this person is actually saying? Is there evidence to back this up, or is this just energy that is being transferred between you and this individual? And I think the people who are really successful right now are finding ways of harnessing that. And I think this is why you get a lot of people who they don't care about other people, and they just know what other people want to hear, and they just feed it back to them. You're seeing this with people. They use it in ways that are disgusting. They'll use it in religious ways. They'll use your faith against you to be able to sell you something. They'll use your sexual proclivity. They'll use your race. They'll use your gender. They'll use anything so that they can get your money. And they don't care about you. They will use all these fancy words and phrases and emotion to shine through to get you to just sign on the dotted line, to just follow them and contribute to their cause. But they don't really care about you. And so I look at that and I go, that doesn't bode well for society long term. So Patrice O'Neal saw this at the beginning, early stages of when we were using the internet and social media was coming about, and we were sharing things and talking amongst each other. Today, years have gone by. It's even worse today. And I don't know what that means for the future. And I don't know what that means for the truth and for how information gets spread to person. So it's an interesting concept. It was just something that I was thinking about. Rest in peace, Patrice. I would love to have had Patrice today, because he was a naturally aggressive person, but he was a thinker. He was someone who was always thinking, and he was always about the truth. And I think that was actually the video clip that I saw it was called Brutally Honest. And he was talking about how that's crazy. Brutally honest? Honesty should not be brutal. Brutal lying, brutal deception, that's brutal. But honesty should just be honesty. And if it's brutal to you, that's on you. You have to learn to accept the truth. And that's why I love Patrice, because he was honest and he told things how it was. And I think we need more of that today. Whether people want to hear it or not, we need to be able to express ourselves truthfully. And if we are always curating by aggression and we are not curating by truth, to me, I think that that's going to create problems for us. I see the problems today, but is it going to create more problems in the future? That's all I got for today. Until next time, I'll see you then.